As you surely know by now, my friends, next patch revamps Retribution Paladin spec massively. It's a massive revamp. And while I'm not an expert in Retribution and I mostly play protection and tanks in general, I can tell you that from what I've seen on the PTR, it's very promising. And today I'm going to do my best to explain it to you in my casual, chilled kind of way and offer you my very chilled build, the one that I tried once again very briefly, not in the group content on PTR because there is no one around to try it with. But this is something I'm going with, and I will point out to you the key kind of nodes in this talent tree that I took and why I took them. Now, first thing, the hero of this all is not at the bottom of the talent tree, believe it or not, but we will get to these bottom nodes as well, don't worry about that. But the hero for me personally was this, Crusading Strikes. Crusading Strikes replaces Crusader Strike and makes the procs of that Crusader Strike passive. Instead of kind of tapping that extra and finding the extra kind of GCD as well as the button mapping keybind for this kind of not very fun button to press that Crusader Strike is, in my humble opinion, this is now going to be such a similar to Devastator proc for the warriors, so something that basically replaces the auto attack with this thing. So that's fantastic in my humble opinion. They have also revamped the whole bloody tree here of Retribution Paladins and made a massive emphasis on the Blade of Justice in what I can see once again. So because Crusader Strike is de-emphasized essentially, and because we still have Templar Verdict as one of those massive spenders, big bang kind of attacks, Blade of Justice, at least from what I can see, please pro Retribution Paladins, correct me in the comments down below, I'm sure you would do that anyway. I think that they've done a lot more for Blade of Justice than they used to, didn't they? So we have talents like Improved Blade of Justice, where it gets 2 charges. We have Blade of Vengeance, where Blade of Justice hits nearby enemies for quite a lot of physical damage as well, obviously reduced damage beyond 5 targets, and a whole bunch of other really good kind of very, if I may say so, very retribution-y kind of spirit of retribution kind of is all through and through of these talents. Now I normally play, like for those people who don't know me very well and maybe just popped into this video just to check out the content, look, I don't pretend to be an expert, but I play with a lot of enjoyment, and I try to maximize this enjoyment by having as few buttons as possible and maximizing kind of the process as opposed to being kind of a piano player, kind of like pressing all these numerously mapped buttons. If you play like that, you probably are not going to like my playstyle, but I don't judge, but as long as you don't judge me either. So what I do and my choices here, I explain to you by the fact that I want to make passive as much as possible. Yes, that's how I play, okay? Which is why I tried 2 builds, by the way, before I settled on this one for now, to try it on live, and then maybe I will change again. I had one with Wake of Ashes. Yes, I know Wake of Ashes gives us an extra button, first of all, which is generally not a good thing in my book, but losing Crusader Strike, replacing it with Wake of Ashes as active button, I guess it's bearable, yeah? Even by my standards of kind of just a lazy casual, call me that. So Wake of Ashes is definitely a beloved ability. It's cool. It goes to for all the way. We had it from Legion expansion when we had it first in the artifact, in the Ashbringer, and now we have it here coming back as kind of an instant pressable button on a relatively low cooldown as well, which is cool. So I played with it a little bit and it's all right. The build, I will offer you both builds if you would like me to, and I kind of enjoyed the build with Wake of Ashes, but then I thought, you know what, can I push it further and can I make the damage and the number of buttons fewer buttons, and the damage also kind of perceivably as I dispose of all these enemies kind of running around here of the Forbidden Reach, can I make it just as enjoyable? And I think I did. So what I've gone with, I've maximized the improved Blade of Justice. I took obviously the Crusading Strikes. I went all the way down here, giving this extra, extra abilities to deal radiant damage to Divine Storm, Divine Hammer, and Consecration. Obviously we don't have Consecration as Retribution Paladins, unfortunately. And then I also took Searing Light. So it is Passive, again, that is good in my book, and abilities deal radiant damage, have a chance to call down an explosion of holy fire. I haven't seen it proccing too often. I have seen it proccing, but not too often, at least in this kind of very limited testing context, so please take it with a grain of salt. But at the moment I am going into this with this into the live game when the patch launches, and I'm gonna try it. So that's the first pillar that I went with, this pillar. Second pillar, so I dropped Wake of Ashes. I decided to remove that, and I went with this kind of this direction of Adjudication, Blades of Light, and Divine Arbiter. Divine Arbiter is obviously the culmination of all of this, and the Divine Arbiter is a new, just recently added ability that again is a passive one, and abilities that deal holy strike damage, such as Templar Verdict, for example, they deal increased damage, and casting abilities grants a stack of Divine Arbiter. At 25 stacks, the next damaging single target, Holy Paladin, Holy Power ability, causes a rather massive damage to the primary target and holy strike damage to targets within 6 yards. It's quite cool. You know what impresses me the most about this build, and once again, like I said to you, no excuses made further. Like, if you like a lot of buttons, you won't like this. If you are like me and you don't want a lot of buttons, you'll be like, I can't believe just how potent and strong this build feels, at least in this non-challenging content, to be checked in the more challenging content, of course. With these few buttons, there are like literally 3 buttons or something. So for me personally, it's a massive success. Now on the left hand side, what helps all this, all this build, on the left hand side we have a few things that are working in our favor as well. We have Divine Storm that heals us now. That contributes to our sustainability, self-sustain, obviously. It increases the range of Crusader Strike. Yeah, so that's that passive proc now that we have is going to hit further. We are getting bonus armor, so self-protection from Word of Glory that we are using all the time. So that's also contributing to our quite a lot to our self-sustainability. Our auto attacks that are basically Crusading Strikes, yes, Crusading Strikes, they do extra holy damage, which is quite a lot. And then Hammer of Wrath always critically strikes. Thank you, Hammer of Wrath, that's always fun. They have also redesigned the of Dusk and Dawn, which was an okay ability in my opinion, and now it's pretty good. So whenever we cast 3 holy power generating abilities, we gain the Blessing of Dawn. When we consume the Blessing of Dawn, we get the Blessing of Dusk. It's kind of like flipping back and forth a little bit, which is alright, because quite, to be honest, take a look at this. Blessing of Dawn increases the damage by 20%, and Blessing of Dusk reduces the damage by 5%, which is not much for 10 seconds. However, if we go here and take Fading Light, which I took, as opposed to a Seal of Order, you can take Seal of Order, of course, or let me know in the comments down below if I'm missing something and you simmed it and you think that one works much better than the other. Obviously, I haven't simmed this, yeah, I'm a casual. But this Blessing of Dawn increases the damage even by an additional 10%, which is massive now, yeah? And Blessing of Dusk also gives us a shield to protect us. I think that's pretty damn good. So I am, honestly, my friends, as a non-Retribution player, as a tank, right? I love protection. I love what they're doing with protection, by the way, in patch 10.0.7, and I already have a little casual overview of what I'm doing with that build, in case you missed it on my channel. But as much as I'm a tank, as much as I'm mostly a prot, I like this. I do like this. I don't feel squishy. I don't feel like Retribution when Retribution used to be played well, and that wouldn't be in my hands. But when I saw Retribution played well, they were dishing out quite respectable damage. Yeah, I think we all agree with that. However, they were a little squishy, Retribution Paladins. Quite squishy, in fact, I would say. Like I had to heal, like off-heal as a tank. I had to use my Word of Glory procs to heal some random Retribution Paladin in my group because the healer wasn't keeping up. You know, because obviously as a melee character, you need to be right in the middle of all that buzz going on and all this splash damage and whatever else is happening there. So now Blizzard giving Paladins quite a lot of extra protection. Sanctified Plates is a fantastic ability that I reviewed in my Protection Paladin build. It's even in the base tree. So taking it as a retribution, it increases your armor, it increases your stamina, and damage taken from area of effect is reduced by a little bit, but it all adds up, doesn't it? So I am actually quite impressed with what they've done here with Retribution Paladin. Let me know in the comments down below if you understand all of this better and spent countless hours like simming and whatever else you were doing, or maybe you're just copying the builds from Wowhead and other resources and not asking any extra questions. I wonder why you're watching my videos then, but thank you very much for your patronage. But do let me know in the comments below in case I'm missing something and you have some better suggestions with what you're seeing on the screen right now. I'm totally open to these suggestions as long as you're not a troll and not an elitist. Those people are never welcome in my community and get banned. Sorry for the bad news, but everyone else is welcome by default. Thanks for tuning in today. I hope you are looking forward to 10.0.7 as much as I do. And before 10.0.7 is going to hit us, guess what? There is an early start, early launch and beta weekend for Diablo 4 pre-orders, and I am going to be playing Diablo 4 on the weeks when there is nothing to do in World of Warcraft. Of course, Forbidden Reach is coming, a lot of content is coming, I'm looking forward to it, but there are weeks when the content is a bit slow, at least for casuals, at least for people who play casually and are not in a guild and an organized group and stuff. So yeah, I very much look forward to switching to Diablo. Between Diablo and World of Warcraft, I think it's going to be a very, very exciting season. Please like the video so that more people can see it if you liked any of this, of what I offered you today, and subscribe for more from me, because more content is coming to you every week here. Thanks again, bye for now.